SEO Sly, SEO done right. I'm Olga Zarr, an SEO consultant in SEO since 2012. Don't forget to subscribe to learn SEO for free with me. Now let's get into the show. Google Search Console data. So we already have done some work. Now we need to try to look at the site from the perspective of Google. And of course, Google Search Console is the best way to do that, because here's the chart I created some time ago. I think you can also find it in the blog post about how to audit the site with Google Search Console. I wrote some time ago. So as you can see, Google Search Console allows you to look at like technical SEO, which is kind of the ground, of course, content quality, security, page optimization, page experience, inbound links, schema, so all those levels of in a hierarchy of SEO needs. The most important tool within Google Search Console is probably the URL inspection, which allows you to see how Googlebot sees the site. So you are able to preview the screenshot and the rendered HTML. And very often there are differences between what you see in the source code and what you see in the rendered screenshot, and you always need to know what Google is seeing. Here's another recent example. So I was hired to do traffic loss analysis. Basically, the entire blog section of a very big site was de-indexed. And the client said that Google is penalizing them and saying there is a no index tag while there isn't any. And in fact, if you looked into the source code, there was no index tag. But of course, the URL inspection tool showed me that actually the case is different. There is a JavaScript redirect to an old AMP version, which has a no index tag. And this no index tag was kind of transferred to the entire blog section, all the blog posts. And the same day we fixed the issue, the traffic started to recover. Another thing, performance report, also something that gives you some preview of what's going on in terms of organic search. But of course, you have to be aware of some limitations. And here are some tips based on my experience. For example, dropping average position can actually be a good sign, because the average position may be going down because the site is getting new and new keywords, and it's starting to rank for new keywords. And usually when the site starts to rank for new keywords, it will start ranking on lower positions. So this is one tip. And a dropping CTR without the drop in positions may also mean that there are new features in search results. So always take a look at search results, what's there, what's changed, because you may be ranking #1, but there is like a ton of other features, and actually a user has to scroll 5 screens to be able to see your first organic position. Another report, which I like very much, indexing, especially the 2 buckets, crawled, currently not indexed, and discovered, currently not indexed. So any audits wouldn't be complete without you looking at those 2 reports. So crawled, currently not indexed. Usually, if you see a lot of sites, a lot of pages there, especially a lot more pages than the site has, it may mean that, for example, the site has been hacked, and with the famous Japanese keyword hack. So I also had a lot of cases like that. It may also mean there is a quality issue, and Google somehow doesn't want to index those pages. So you always need to review what types of pages are there. Are they quality pages? Are they not quality pages? Maybe there are some pages with parameters which weren't correctly taken care of. So always check that. And finally, discovered, currently not indexed. So these are the pages Google didn't have the time to crawl. And if there is a lot of stuff there, it may mean there is some crawl budget issues on the site. For example, Google is spending all the time crawling parameters which aren't canonicalized correctly, and simply doesn't have time to crawl the pages which you actually want to index. Crawl stats report, another report within Google Search Console,
is the best you can get if you are not able to do a log file analysis. Not all the clients will give you access to log files, so this is the best you can get if you cannot do like the real full log file analysis, and I strongly recommend checking that. Because if there is something like very bad happening, usually you can get like at least some clue of what's going on. And of course, GSC is great, but you need to remember it has a lot of limitations. This is just sample data, especially if you use like the interface of GSC. You can set up BigQuery to be able to store all the data. And whenever you see something in GSC, always check if this is actually an issue and if it is still an issue, because sometimes there will be things that are not true anymore. And some tools such as JetOctopus or SEO Crawl, I believe once you set them up correct with GSC, they will allow you to store the data historically, so that you will also get rid of that 60-month period which you get in GSC.